The company's annual holiday party was supposed to be a fun evening. Food, music, and laughter among colleagues. My wife, Sophia, had been talking about it for weeks. She worked as a marketing manager at a tech firm in downtown Austin, Texas, and this was their biggest event of the year. She'd spent the whole day picking out a dress, fixing her hair, and reapplying lipstick in front of the mirror. When she finally stepped out in that sleek emerald green gown, I couldn't help but admire her and feel a quiet twinge of unease. Something about her excitement felt different this time, but I brushed it off. After all, she was my wife. I had nothing to worry about. Or so I thought. When we arrived at the venue, the place was packed with pulsing music, loud chatter, and far too many glasses of champagne flowing. Everyone seemed to know Sophia. Her co-workers swarmed around her, complimenting the dress, laughing at her jokes. I stood by her side, smiling politely, the husband in the background. Then I noticed him. Ryan, the tall, smooth-talking co-worker she'd mentioned more times than I cared to count. The moment he spotted her, his eyes lit up. "Sophia, you look incredible," he said, completely ignoring me. She smiled, a slight blush rising on her cheeks. "Thanks, Ryan. You clean up pretty well yourself." That was the first moment the night started to sour. For a while, I tried to ignore it. I chatted with a few people, grabbed another drink, and told myself not to be the jealous husband. But as the evening wore on, Ryan's presence became impossible to overlook. Every time I glanced over, he was there, standing too close, whispering something that made her laugh, brushing her arm in that casual but not casual way. I clenched my jaw and tried to stay composed. Then the music shifted, and the host announced the start of the couple's dance. Before I could even turn to ask Sophia if she wanted to dance with me, Ryan extended his hand. "May I?" I expected her to decline politely. Instead, she hesitated, then smiled and said, "Sure, just one." My stomach dropped. I stood frozen as she took his hand and let him lead her onto the dance floor. The crowd cheered when the lights dimmed and the slow melody began. They danced close, far too close, her hand resting on his shoulder, his arm wrapped tight around her waist. My blood boiled. Every spin, every step, every smile she gave him felt like a knife twist, a public betrayal dressed up as harmless fun. When he dipped her dramatically at the end of the song, the crowd erupted in applause, and Ryan shot me a quick, smug smirk. That was it. I didn't make a scene, at least not the screaming kind. I simply finished my drink, set the glass down, and waited for him to walk her back over. He approached with that same cocky look, the kind that said he knew exactly what he'd done. "Man, your wife's a great dancer," he said, patting my shoulder like we were buddies. "You're a lucky guy." I forced a tight smile. "Yeah," I replied quietly. "Luckier than you realize." Sophia glanced nervously between us. "Ryan, maybe you should—" But before she could finish, I cut in. "Actually, Ryan, since you seem to enjoy getting close to other men's wives, how about I show you how I dance?" The smirk vanished from his face. "Hey man, relax," he started. He didn't get to finish. My fist connected squarely with his jaw, one clean, solid punch. The room went dead silent as Ryan stumbled backward, crashed into a cocktail table, and landed flat on the floor. Gasps echoed around us. Someone shouted, "Oh my God!" Sophia screamed my name and grabbed my arm. "Michael, what are you doing?" I looked down at Ryan, clutching his face in shock, and said evenly, "That was your warning dance. Next time, it won't end with a handshake." Security rushed over, trying to calm things down. But I was already calm, dangerously calm. "I'm done here," I said, turning toward the exit. Sophia followed me out, humiliated, whispering furiously, "You embarrassed me in front of everyone." I stopped at the door, looked her straight in the eyes, and replied, "No, Sophia, you embarrassed us. I just ended the performance you started." Behind us, the party dissolved into chaos. Whispers, camera flashes, co-workers helping Ryan to his feet. I walked out without looking back. That night, silence filled our car the entire drive home to our house on Oakwood Lane in Denver, Colorado. She tried to defend herself. "It was just a dance, Michael. You overreacted." I didn't say a word until we pulled into the driveway. Then I turned to her. "You let another man hold you like that in front of everyone. You let him treat me like I wasn't even there. You call that just a dance?" Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. I nodded slowly. "Maybe not, but you did, and the whole world saw it." The next morning, Ryan called in sick. The story spread through her office like wildfire. Everyone knew what had happened, how her innocent dance had turned into a public spectacle. Her boss called her in for a serious conversation about professional conduct. When she came home that evening, she looked broken. "They think I was flirting," she said miserably. "They said it made the company look bad." I just shrugged. "Actions have consequences, Soph. You didn't respect our marriage last night. Now you know how it feels when the respect disappears." Weeks passed before the dust finally settled. Sophia apologized over and over, eventually admitting she'd crossed a line, that she'd gotten caught up in the attention and her own ego. I forgave her, not because she necessarily deserved it right away, but because holding on to that anger would only poison me. Ryan, on the other hand, avoided me like the plague after that night. I never had to say another word. The knockout had already spoken for me. And every time someone at her office brings up that holiday party now, they remember one thing above all. The moment the quiet husband who'd stood silently in the corner all night finally stood up, ended the mockery, and reminded everyone that respect isn't just given, it's earned. And when it's taken lightly, it can be knocked out in one clean punch. 2.7 is fast.